Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 3:18-3:17. Tier 8 Artifact. Abyssal Core. He raises his hand. A circle of ancient sigils spins beneath Alex's feet, glowing with pale blue light. I'll teleport us to my master's treasure chamber. Alex gives a small nod. Marrow flicks his smoky fingers, and the world blurs into light. When vision returns, they're standing in a vast underground chamber. The air hums faintly with ancient energy. Pillars carved with runes rise into a ceiling of glittering crystal, and mountains of gold, gemstones, and artifacts stretch as far as the eye can see. Floating weapons drift lazily in midair, each radiating its own distinct law energy. The ground itself gleams, engraved with divine markings that pulse like living veins. Marrow spreads his smoky arms dramatically, grinning. Tada! The treasury of my master, the great arcanum of the old age. He turns toward Alex, waiting for the usual wide-eyed awe, the gasping disbelief, the trembling excitement. Go on, take it in. You're allowed to drool a little, no one will blame you. But Alex only scans the chamber, expression calm, eyes steady. His gaze drifts over the gold, the mountains of jewels, the enchanted relics, unimpressed. Marrow's grin falters. You're serious? Not even a wow? Nothing. Alex steps forward, looking around quietly. They'll help, he says simply. Help, Marrow echoes, exasperated. You see these 4 Tier 7 artifacts. They are legendary treasures, the kind of artifacts heroes fought wars over. They're not meant to help. They're meant to rewrite history. Alex glances at him. Then they'll help my kingdom grow faster. That's all. Marrow just stares, half frustrated, half amazed. You're impossible to impress, aren't you? Alex didn't reply. His eyes narrow slightly as he stops in front of a pedestal near the chamber's center. Unlike the rest, this one is sealed within several layers of transparent crystal, runes constantly shifting to keep the air itself from touching it. Suspended inside is an orb-like relic, black and silver, humming with quiet power. The air around it bends slightly, as if reality doesn't know how to exist near it. Marrow floats closer, his smoky form flickering with unease. Ah, that one, he murmurs. That's no ordinary relic. A Tier 8 artifact, the Abyssal Core. My master forged it using the crystallized heart of a dying Tier 8 void beast. Alex studies it silently. His gaze sharpens as a faint chime echoes in his ears. System. Artifact analyzed. Name. Abyssal Core. Tier 8. Type. Destruction type relic. Effect. Converts ambient mana into void energy. Ability. Singularity Pulse. Condenses all gathered energy into a single eruption capable of erasing everything within a city-scale radius. A transparent screen hovers briefly before Alex's eyes, visible only to him. The golden letters fade a moment later as he lowers his hand, expression unchanged. He looks back at Marrow. It's powerful. Powerful. Marrow sputters. That thing could erase a city. My master sealed it here for a reason. Alex hums softly, almost to himself. It could be useful. Marrow groans. Of course you'd say that. He waves his smoky arms in surrender. You can take everything here. Every single artifact, gem. It's yours now. Alex doesn't hesitate. He raises his hand and swipes it through the air once. A ripple of light flashes across the entire chamber. In an instant, everything vanishes. Mountains of gold, floating weapons, priceless relics. Gone, all drawn into the void at Alex's command. The vast treasury is left barren, empty except for the glowing crystal pedestal that once held the Abyssal Core. Marrow just floats there, silent. His smoky form flickers once, twice, then he exhales a shaky laugh. You know, he mutters, I think I've finally reached the point where nothing you do can shock me anymore. Alex looks at him, faintly amused. You sure? Marrow gives a half-hearted shrug. At this point? Probably. He tilts his head, eyes dimming slightly. So, I guess this makes it official then. Alex raises a brow. Makes what official? Marrow shrugs, floating closer. You heard me. The one who passes the final trial becomes my new master. That was the old agreement my creator left behind. Since you won, I'm bound to you now. Alex's eyes narrow slightly. Bound? Not in a bad way, Mero says quickly, waving his misty hands. Think of it more like partnership. You command, I follow. Also, this place will collapse soon anyway, so might as well stick with the living. Alex goes quiet for a moment, considering. A faint hum passes through the air as the runes along the walls begin to dim, signaling the treasury's slow unraveling. He finally nods once. Fine. You're coming with me. Mero blinks. That's it? Just like that. You said you know your master's records. Alex replies evenly. That includes knowledge of the 3 main continents, right? Mero's smoky form straightens. Of course. I've got more information stored in me than most archives on this planet. Alex nods slightly, his voice calm but edged with authority. Good. That means you're useful to me. Mero stares for a second, then chuckles. Useful, huh? That's one way to say, welcome aboard. Alex turns and said, since I'm your new master, I can take the artifact your creator used in the second trial, right? Mero tilts his head. Yeah, technically you can. If you can find where he hid it. A faint smirk tugs at the corner of Alex's lips. That won't be a problem. Mero raises an eyebrow. And why's that? Alex doesn't answer. An artifact suddenly materializes in Alex's hand. A small, golden mouse statue etched with ancient runes. The moment it appears, faint sparks of mana dance around it like living threads. Alex holds it up, his tone calm. Go and find the most valuable artifact in this place. The golden mouse twitches once, its gemstone eyes flickering with life. Then it lets out a soft chirp, leaps from his palm, and instantly burrows into the crystal floor, vanishing without a trace. Mero blinks, staring at the spot where it disappeared. Wait, that was a tracking artifact? He floats closer, voice rising. Oh, master, you have a tier 7 tracking artifact. Do you know how rare that is? Not even my old master had one. Alex glances at him, tone even. Well, I just got lucky to have it, that's all. Mero floats around him in a small circle, muttering in disbelief. You must be some kind of young lord from one of the top forces in the 3 main continents, right? There's no way someone from anywhere else could casually pull that out. Alex's expression doesn't change. I'm not. Mero pauses midair. What? I'm just a person from the lower continent, Alex says simply. For a moment, Mero just stares, then laughs. A sound that echoes strangely in the empty treasury. A person from the lower continent, he repeats, shaking his smoky head. And you're walking around with a rare tier 7 artifact and adding 4 laws in an element skills while in tier 6. He lets out a long sigh. This world really has gone mad. After some time, the golden mouse finally returns, its tiny body shimmering with traces of dust and mana. It scurries up Alex's boot and stops at his side, letting out a faint squeak that only he seems to understand. Alex kneels slightly, his expression calm. So, you found it? The mouse nods, or at least makes a motion that resembles one, its jeweled eyes flickering once. A moment later, it darts across the floor toward the far side of the chamber, tapping its small paw on what looks like solid stone. Mero hovers nearby, curious. What's it saying? Or, is it saying anything at all? Alex glances at him. It found something. That's all you need to know. Alex walks toward the marked spot. The wall looks ordinary. Smooth crystal veined with faint light, but the mana flowing through it feels slightly different. He places a hand on the surface, feeling the subtle vibration underneath. Without hesitation, Alex channels his energy. A swirl of mana gathers around his palm, earth and fire intertwining in controlled balance. The ground trembles, and molten light begins to outline a circular opening. He exhales slowly. Burst! A muffled crack echoes as the wall gives way, forming a molten-edged tunnel leading downward. The heat fades quickly as he cools it with a flicker of frost energy, turning the passage smooth and stable. Mero watches, eyes wide. You just combined 2 conflicting elements like it's nothing. Do you even realize how absurd that looks? Alex doesn't answer. He steps forward, lowering himself slightly to enter the newly formed tunnel. The golden mouse scurries ahead, its faint golden glow lighting the way. The tunnel winds downward, narrow at first, then widening as they descend. The air grows denser, humming faintly with sealed energy. Alex moves with measured calm, each step deliberate. After a few dozen meters, the passage opens into a small hidden chamber, barely large enough to hold a few people. The air here feels still, untouched for ages. Faint blue runes pulse along the walls, forming a containment seal around a single stone altar at the center. Chapter 319-318. Worldforge Relic, Quasi, Tier 9. Alex stops at the threshold, his gaze locked on the altar. The faint hum of the runes resonates through the chamber like a heartbeat. Resting atop the stone surface is a single object, an ornate, silver-black sphere carved with countless tiny symbols that shift when looked at. The space around it wavers slightly, distorting like a mirage. Marrow floats in after him, lowering his smoky voice. "So, that's what the mouse found, huh?" He drifts closer, his tone turning wary. "That thing, I can feel it. It's bending the space around itself. That's not your usual artifact." Alex doesn't move closer yet. His eyes narrow, taking in the faint patterns pulsing across the relic. "You know what it is?" Marrow circles the artifact, arms crossed. "Not exactly, but the energy feels familiar." "Wait. Yeah, I remember now." His voice lowers. "It's an artifact, my master's greatest work. He called it the Worldforge Relic." Alex glances at him, silent, waiting for him to continue. Marrow lets out a low whistle. "It's an artifact that managed to build a false world, constructed entirely from its target's memories. Just imagine that. A realm woven from illusion and truth mixed together. That kind of artifact isn't just rare, it's dangerous. It's Quasi, Tier 9. The air grows heavier as Marrow says it, the words echoing softly in the confined space. Even sealed, the artifact's presence presses against the senses, like gravity itself bowing to it. Marrow's usually joking tone fades into quiet awe. "My master called it a dream engine. He theorized that it could trap entire souls in memory loops, or even reconstruct ancient eras long gone." The system hums softly in his mind. System. Artifact detected. Name. Worldforge Relic. Quasi, Tier 9. Type. Illusion Relic. Effect. Generates an independent subrealm based on the target's memories, even lost memories. Ability. Recollection Domain. Constructs a simulated world drawn from the target's subconscious, capable of influencing real-world energy flow. Alex studies the floating sphere, the reflection of its swirling light flickering in his eyes. "I admit," he says evenly, "your master is great." Marrow brightens immediately, puffing out his smoky chest with pride. "Of course, he's great. He's the most respected demigod that ever walked this planet." He drifts higher, his tone swelling with admiration. There wasn't a single scholar, emperor, or other demigod who didn't know his name. Alex hums quietly, eyes still on the artifact. A demigod who could forge something like this deserves the title. Marrow grins, spinning once in the air like a proud child being praised. "You're damn right he does. My master didn't just study magic, he understood it. Every law, every particle, every trace of mana. He treated them like pieces of a grand puzzle only he could solve." His smoky form flares faintly with nostalgia. He reached Tier 8 through sheer will and intellect alone. And then, he went beyond it, even if only for a moment, to create that. Alex gives a faint nod, stepping closer to the relic. The air thickens as his mana brushes against its field, faint ripples spreading through the room like waves on still water. "A Tier 8 who made a Quasi-Tier 9 artifact. Impressive." Marrow chuckles softly. "Impressive? You've got a strange way of saying, unbelievable. Most people would be kneeling right now." "I'm not most people." Alex reaches out, letting his hand hover just a hair's breadth from the relic. The sphere reacts, its symbols rotating faster for a heartbeat before calming again, almost as if acknowledging him. Marrow's ember-like eyes widen slightly. "It responded to you. Ha! Maybe it likes you. Or it recognizes strength," Alex replies evenly. He closes his hand, and the relic floats up from the altar, shrinking slightly as it's enveloped by his mana. A soft pulse runs through the chamber as he stores it away. The hum in the air fades. Silence settles once more. Alex turns toward Marrow. "Let's go. We're done here." "Okay." Marrow asks, his tone light but edged with relief. "I'm gonna miss this place. Way too many old memories floating around." Marrow says brightly, floating backward toward the center of the chamber. "All right, stand still. This'll only sting a little." Before Alex can reply, a pulse of light erupts from the ground. The runes flare to life once more, spreading across the floor in intricate spirals. The walls begin to tremble, chunks of crystal crumbling away as the treasury starts to collapse. "Here we go," Marrow shouts, his voice cutting through the rising rumble. "Hold on tight, master. Next time you open your eyes, we'll be surrounded by trees. If we're lucky, somewhere near the exit." Alex closes his eyes just as the light engulfs them both. The sound of collapsing stone fades into nothingness, replaced by the soft hum of mana tearing through space. And then silence. The world steadies. The pressure of teleportation fades. Alex opens his eyes. A humid wind brushes past his face, thick with mana and the scent of moss, blood, and thunder. He stands atop a moss-covered ridge, half-buried roots twisting around him like skeletal fingers. The air vibrates faintly, and before him, an immense clearing stretches out. At its center lie 3 peak Tier 6 beasts, crouched low and alert, their eyes locked on him. A crimson-scaled gorilla pounds its chest, arcs of lightning cracking between its fists. Beside it, a 4-winged basilisk coils its long body protectively, its scales gleaming like polished obsidian. The third, a saber-maned direwolf, growls deep enough to shake the underbrush. And behind them, something massive sleeps. The ground rises gently into a slope of roots and stone that forms a natural dais, and upon it rests a colossal shape, its body half covered in moss and faintly glowing with veins of molten gold. Even asleep, its presence dominates the grove like a god at rest. Alex's eyes sharpen, the faintest glint of excitement flickering within. Oh, it's a freaking dragon, he thinks, as the corners of his lips curve faintly upward. He tilts his head slightly, watching the creature's immense wings twitch in slumber. And not just any kind. His eyes gleam brighter. A western dragon. My favorite kind. Marrow drifts beside him, completely missing Alex's expression. Well, Marrow mutters, his tone turning sharp and contemptuous. What are these insects glaring at? Do they want to die? The basilisk hisses, spreading its wings wide as mana crackles through the air. The gorilla beats its chest again, roaring, the sound deep and threatening. The beasts bristle, their instincts sensing only a low-level Tier 6 before them, nothing worth true caution. The crimson gorilla grunts, slamming its fists into the ground, tearing open cracks that spit lightning. The basilisk's wings flare, dark mist rolling from its scales. The direwolf's hackles rise, mana twisting around its claws like molten air. Marrow crosses his arms, sneering. TCH. Pathetic. They can't even feel it. Their instincts are duller than I thought. Alex doesn't reply. His gaze remains fixed on the sleeping dragon, his excitement tempered by curiosity. Then, the first beast moves. The gorilla lunges forward, its fist glowing crimson, air detonating behind it. The basilisk and wolf follow an instant later, their movements synchronized by bloodlust and command. 3 peak Tier 6s, striking with full killing intent. The ground splits apart from the force of their charge. And in the same breath, Alex disappears. A sharp crack echoes. The gorilla's body freezes mid-strike, eyes wide, before its head twists unnaturally aside. Its skull caves in with a dull thud, and the massive body slams into the dirt, shaking the forest floor. Marrow blinks once. Well, that was one. The basilisk screeches, venom spraying through the air. Alex reappears beside it, eyes cold, movement clean and soundless. He drives his fist into its side. Not even using skill, just pure force. The air ripples. The creature's scales shatter like glass, and the impact sends a shockwave that carves a trench across the ground. The basilisk's body folds in half before it hits the trees. The direwolf hesitates, growl breaking into a whimper, but it's too late. Alex is already there. His right hand moves in a blur, colliding with its skull. A single hit. Silence follows the echoing boom. Dust drifts slowly to the ground. 3 massive corpses lie sprawled across the clearing. Marrow drifts down beside him, a grin tugging at his lips. Poor bastards. Killed by their own stupidity. Chapter 323:19. Zevran, Descendants of the Dragon. Alex doesn't answer. His eyes turn back toward the dragon as the ground beneath them begins to tremble. The air grows heavy, dense enough that even Marrow's smoke flickers. A low, guttural sound rolls through the grove, more felt than heard. Then 2 eyes open. The dragon exhales, each breath shaking the surrounding trees. Its scales shimmer with molten veins of gold and black, ancient runes faintly glowing along its wings. It raises its head slowly, gaze settling on the monster standing among the corpses of its guardians. When it speaks, its voice isn't just sound. It's vibration, resonating through mana, through earth, through bone. You! The dragon's pupils narrow to slits, faint arcs of lightning flickering in its breath. It's you who massacred the beasts in my territory the other day. Alex meets its gaze without flinching, the faintest smirk curving his lips. Ah, he says quietly. So this is your domain. The dragon's wings unfold fully, blocking out the faint sunlight that filters through the canopy. The pressure doubles, then triples, rattling the trees for miles. The air trembles, thick with the dragon's killing intent. Trees bow under its aura, leaves torn from their branches and scattered like green rain. Marrow hovers back slightly, his smoke getting swayed from the wind. Oh, this one's pissed, he mutters. Alex doesn't move. His expression stays perfectly calm, almost bored, as his eyes meet the dragon's glowing gold pupils. Then he says, voice low and steady, "Become my pet." The words hang in the air, sharp as a blade. The dragon freezes for a moment. Then a deep, rumbling laugh shakes the clearing. The sound isn't amused, it's mocking, enraged. Its maw opens, showing rows of teeth like jagged obsidian spears. What did you just say? The beast growls, its tone layered with disbelief and fury. You dare say that to me? It lowers its head, molten gold eyes narrowing. I, the descendants of the ancient dragon race, one whose blood once burned skies and split continents. And you, a lowly tier 6 monster, want me to become your pet? Its wings flare, shattering the ground beneath its claws. Wind spiral upward as it rises to its full height, towering over Alex like a mountain. Such arrogance. It snarls, voice rising into a roar that shakes the forest. How does a weakling like you even have the guts to speak those words in front of me? The dragon moves. Its claw tears through the air. A blur of green and black, big enough to crush a fortress. The impact never lands. A deafening clang resounds instead. The dragon's claw stops inches from Alex's face, pressed against an invisible wall of light. Ripples spread through the air where the barrier holds firm, glowing faintly with crystalline blue lines that shift like flowing water. The beast's pupils contract in disbelief. Pushes harder, mana surging, but the barrier doesn't so much as flicker. Alex doesn't even raise his hand. His eyes remain cold, expression unchanged. You should be careful what you boast about. The dragon snarls, teeth bared. You think a mere shield. Alex cuts him off, voice calm but edged with quiet dominance. You only have about 10% of true dragon blood. You shouldn't boast too much. The dragon freezes. For a heartbeat, its mind blanks. Then a guttural growl escapes its throat, deep, trembling with rage. 10%. It repeats, voice booming through the clearing like thunder. You dare belittle me, monster? Alex doesn't reply. His eyes narrow slightly, faint mana glinting within them like stars through fog. The dragon's rage surges. It rears back, veins pulsing violently beneath its scales. The air itself seems to quake. I'll erase you. But before it can strike again, Alex vanishes. The dragon's eyes widen. What? A voice echoes from above, smooth and cold. You should be grateful, Alex says, tone almost casual, that I'm making you my pet. The dragon jerks its head upward, just in time to see Alex descending, his right fist wrapped in dense, swirling mana. The moment his fist connects, boom! The impact is like a mountain falling from the heavens. The ground caves in for miles, a deafening shockwave ripping through the forest. Trees are uprooted, boulders split, and the surrounding ridge collapses in on itself. The dragon's body slams into the ground, scales cracking along its shoulders as dust explodes outward in a massive ring. It roars in pain, its voice echoing for kilometers. The earth beneath it splits like broken glass. Marrow whistles, hovering far above the chaos. Well damn, I think he felt that one. Alex lands lightly on the dragon's skull, expression unreadable. The air around him hums with power, the faint shimmer of mana lingering around his arm. The dragon snarls, eyes glowing like molten suns. You'll regret that. The air begins to bend. Wind howls around the dragon, rising into a violent storm. Its wings stretch wide, carving cyclones into the sky as mana pours from its body. The soil around its claws hardens instantly into black crystal, and the cracks left by Alex's strike begin to close, swallowed by the earth itself. I'll crush you. The dragon roars. Something ignite along its scales as two distinct auras burst forth. One deep and heavy as stone, the other sharp and wild as a hurricane. Earth and wind. Marrow's eyes widen slightly. Oh, a rare find. He have two affinity. The ground beneath Alex hums. Runes spreading outward from the dragon's body like a living circuit. The mountain itself seems to awaken, trembling in sync with the dragon's heartbeat. The trees bow, rocks rise, and the air distorts with razor-sharp wind currents spiraling into the sky. This is no simple tier 6 aura. There's a trace of something far greater. The law of earth. Marrow mutters, his smoky voice low. And the law of wind. He already touched them. The dragon's mana surges again, heavier and denser than before, shaking the entire valley. You think I'm some lesser beast? It snarls, rising from the crater Alex made. I am Zevran, descendant of the Earthwind monarch. My claws have torn through mountains. My breath has erased cities. Its wings beat once, just once, and the storm explodes outward, scattering the clouds. Stones levitate around it, wrapped in spinning wind. Bow before me, mortal. Zevran roars. And I'll make your death swift. Alex stands still, watching as the earth and sky twist together in a violent cyclone of raw power. The wind tugs at his coat, dust swirling around him in a halo of golden light. Then he lifts his gaze, eyes calm and sharp as blades. Zevran, he says quietly. A proud name. His mana flares not outward, but inward. The air thickens, space itself trembling as his presence rises to meet the storm. But pride, he says, stepping forward as the ground fractures under his foot, is meaningless before power. The dragon roars, unleashing its full might. The forest vanishes in a storm of light and force, and Alex disappears again. The world flashes white. Then, crash. Zevran's massive body is suddenly flung backward, scales shattering as Alex's fist smashes into his jaw with the weight of a collapsing mountain. The shockwave ripples outward, slicing through trees like a blade of air. The dragon is hurled across the valley, slamming through stone, tearing through cliffs, until his enormous body collides headfirst with a mountain. Boom! The entire peak crumbles from the impact, half of it collapsing inward, leaving a gaping hole shaped like Zevran's form. Dust and molten rock rain down as the dragon groans, his vision spinning. He shakes his head, disbelief clear in his golden eyes. Impossible! He rasps, his voice trembling with fury and shock. How can this be? You're nothing but a tiny monster. Your mana, your aura, it's weak. Alex appears in front of the crater, expression calm, eyes gleaming faintly. His coat flutters in the gale of Zevran's power. Weak, he says softly. Then why are you bleeding? Zevran's gaze drops. Golden blood seeps between the cracks of his shattered scales, dripping down his neck like molten sunlight. His breath trembles with rage, disbelief cutting deeper than the pain. You! He snarls, voice booming across the mountain range. This power, it's unnatural. It's like you're wielding the law of strength itself. Alex's lips curl faintly. Maybe I am. Zevran roars, wings spreading wide, shaking the mountainside. No, that's impossible. How can a tier 6 wield the power of law? He slams both claws into the ground. Instantly, mana surges outward in golden waves, the earth beneath them glowing like molten iron. Tier 6, cataclysmic veins. The ground erupts. Pillars of stone and magma burst upward, twisting under the control of Zevran's mana. Each one carries a fragment of the law of earth, heavy, crushing, and absolute. The air warps as gravity itself bends to the dragon's will. Mountains fracture, and the valley sinks under invisible weight. Marrow throws up a shield. That's no ordinary tier 6 skill. It already carries a trace of law. Chapter 321-320. An Emperor tier 7 beast is rampaging. Chapter 321. Chapter 320. An Emperor tier 7 beast is rampaging. But Alex walks through it. Every step he takes makes the ground tremble, not from the earth's law, but from the force in his own body tearing through it. The moment the first pillar slams toward him, he raises his arm and punches. Crack! The stone disintegrates, shattering like brittle glass. Another follows, then 10 more. Alex smashes through each, one punch after another, until the entire field of collapsing mountains turns into dust and falling debris. Zevran growls, snapping his wings open. Then try this. Tier 6, Tempest Ruin. The wind howls to life, sharper than any blade. Dozens of compressed cyclones spiral downward, infused with the law of wind. Each gust tears the air apart, slicing through mountains and scattering stone like leaves. Alex looks up as the first one descends, then vanishes. Zevran's eyes dart left, right then. Boom! Alex's fist slams into his ribs, shattering the protective wind barrier. Scales explode outward, the shockwave cratering the mountain behind them. Zevran roars, the pain rippling through his body like fire. Still doesn't want to become my pet? Alex says, voice almost calm, almost teasing, as he appears again in front of Zevran's snout. Zevran swings his claw, but Alex's fist meets it mid-swipe, and breaks it. The crack echoes like thunder. The dragon's forearm twists unnaturally, scales splintering like shattered armor. Zevran screams, a sound that shakes the heavens. Impossible! I am Ze. His roar is cut short by another blow. Alex drives his knee into Zevran's chest, followed by a backhand that sends the dragon crashing into the cliffside. The mountain groans as his massive form smashes through stone, carving another crater into the range. Zevran's breathing grows ragged. His body trembles. His wings twitch but refuse to rise. His mana surges again, but it's unstable, flickering, breaking apart from the inside. He tries one last desperate spell, his voice cracking with fury and fear. Tier 6, Earthshatter Domain. The sky darkens, and the entire terrain begins to collapse inward. Runes appear around the dragon's body, massive symbols pulsing with the authority of the Earth Law. The very land starts to fold into itself, forming a gravitational prison meant to crush everything within miles. Alex clenches his fist. That won't work. He punches upward. The air screams. The mana compressed above detonates in a single instant, like the heavens themselves are being split open. The earth-shattered domain crumbles into shards of broken mana. The runes dim and vanish. The next punch comes faster. Zevran can't even react. He only sees a flash of light before another shockwave hits his chin, sending his massive head slamming into the mountain again. Rock bursts outward, a rain of debris following. The dragon's body slumps, his wings broken, his claws twitching. The ground beneath him glows with faint molten light from the sheer friction of his impact. Alex stands over him, calm, barely winded. "You still don't want to become my pet?" he asks softly, voice echoing in the heavy silence. Zevran's golden eyes flicker. Pride burns in them still, but it's dimming. His breath trembles, his once mighty voice now hoarse. I yield." He growls, voice weak but clear. "Enough. I yield." Alex's gaze doesn't waver. "Say it properly." Zevran's chest heaves. Every word tastes like acid, but he forces them out. "I will become your pet." Marrow floats down beside Alex, letting out a long, low whistle. "Ha! Didn't think I'd live to see the day a dragon begged. Though it's a lesser dragon." The air calms. The storm dies. The mountain stills. Alex looks down at the broken dragon, faint satisfaction glinting in his eyes. "Good," he says simply. "Then let's begin the contract." Zevran exhales shakily. Even through humiliation, his instincts whisper only one thing: submit or die. And so, the Earthwind dragon bows his head for the first time in his life. The city gates loom ahead as Alex arrived, dust and blood still faint on his clothes. The sky above shade is hazy with smoke trails, and the streets outside the walls are chaotic. Caravans lined up, wagons loaded with supplies, and adventurers rushing out in panic. Even from this distance, Alex can feel it. The city's atmosphere isn't the same as when he left. He slows his pace, frowning slightly. "They're leaving," he mutters. Beside him, invisible to everyone else, Marrow floats lazily with his arms crossed. "Looks like it. Guess something scared them bad." When Alex reaches the gate, the guards immediately step forward. Tense, their armor dusted with dirt and ash. Alex wordlessly hands over his adventurer card. The crystal embedded in it glows faintly as the guard scans it, confirming his identity. "You're cleared," the man says, still wide-eyed. "But you might want to hurry in. The city's in chaos right now." Alex nods once and steps inside. The city that was once noisy and bright now feels drained. Merchants are packing up stalls, soldiers are barking orders at civilians, and adventurers are moving in groups, carrying heavy gear toward the gates. Everyone looks tense, afraid. Alex walks straight toward the Adventurers Guild. When he pushes open the heavy doors, the familiar scent of parchment and mana stones greets him, but the hall is packed. Dozens of adventurers crowd the counter, voices overlapping, requests and arguments echoing through the room. Behind the counter, Boo is handling everything at once. Stamping documents, talking to 3 people at the same time, her face clearly stressed. Alex approaches quietly. It takes a moment before Boo glances up, and when she does, her eyes widen in disbelief. "Hey, Alex!" she blurts, freezing mid-motion. "You're alive!" He blinks, mildly amused. "Of course I'm alive," he says, setting his card on the counter. "What about the Iron Group?" Boo exhales sharply, almost dropping her quill. They already left the city. They came back and said the mission was completed, but they didn't know what happened to you." Alex nods slightly, tone calm. "That's good. At least they're all alive." His eyes drift toward the window, where more adventurers rush through the streets. "Also, I can see everyone's trying to leave the city. What's going on?" Boo presses a hand to her temple, her usual professionalism cracking under stress, then lowers her voice. "There's a Tier 7 beast emperor loose in the western forest. It's been rampaging for 7 hours straight, forcing every beast king nearby to submit. The city lords of multiple city has already raised evacuation orders." Marrow floats beside Alex, expression turning oddly dry. "A Tier 7 beast emperor, huh? Can't imagine who that might be," he says, smirking. Alex glances at him briefly. He doesn't need to ask. Both of them already know. But Alex just exhales softly and says nothing. Boo, still talking, notices movement near Alex's shoulder. "Wait, is that?" Her voice softens. "Oh my gods, what is that? It's adorable." Zevran, now no bigger than a house cat, lazily opens one eye from where he's curled on Alex's shoulder. When Boo reaches out a hand, he lets out a low, warning growl, tiny sparks of wind flickering around his scales. Boo freezes mid-reach, blinking. Did it just growl at me? Alex's tone is matter-of-fact. Yeah, don't touch him. He adjusts his cloak slightly so Zevran can rest more comfortably. He's my new pet. His name's Zevran. Boo just shakes her head, exhaling slowly. Very good. Anyway, she shuffles through a pile of papers and retrieves a crystal seal. Your mission was completed, and considering you returned alive, I'll stamp it as a success. She presses the crystal to his adventurer card. It glows bright silver for a moment before dimming again. Congratulations, Alex. You've officially ranked up to diamond rank. Alex nods slightly. Good. Boo leans forward on the counter, curiosity returning to her eyes. So, what are your plans now? Most adventurers are leaving before that beast emperor reaches here. I'm also leaving this city. Alex's gaze drifts toward the window again. Outside, the sky is still hazy from distant smoke. Alex crosses his arms lightly, eyes following the streams of people rushing past the guild's windows. Still want to explore more of this continent. Boo blinks. That's good to know. Alex said. There's still a lot I haven't seen, and I want to know what this place really holds beyond the borders of shade. Boo lets out a soft sigh, then gives him a small, wry smile. Right? I almost forgot. You're from the lower continent. She taps her quill against the counter thoughtfully. You probably want to explore this continent. Just make sure you don't get yourself lost in the human territories. Chapter 322, 321. Sona City. Chapter 322. Chapter 321. Sona City. High above the wastelands, the wind howls past Alex as he rides on Zevran's back. The dragon's wings slice through the clouds, each beat echoing like thunder through the vast open sky. Below them, the land stretches endlessly. Green plains burned to ash, rivers turned muddy from battle, and the faint outlines of ruined walls far in the distance. Alex narrows his eyes. That must be it, he murmurs. The city. Zevran glances back, his smaller, sleek head glinting under the sunlight. Do you wish me to descend, master? Yeah, but return to your small form first. The dragon lets out a faint hum, and in an instant, his massive body shimmers, shrinking down until he's barely the size of a kitten again. He lands lightly on Alex's shoulder, curling his tail around Alex's neck like a scarf. Alex hovers in the air for a moment, his own mana flaring softly beneath his feet. Then he descends. The closer he gets, the stronger the smell of smoke and blood becomes. The once tall walls of the city are shattered. Great cracks run through the stone, and one entire section has completely collapsed. Ash drifts through the air like black snow. Fires still burn in the distance, flickering orange against the gray ruins. When Alex passes over the broken gate, his boots touch the ground softly. The streets are a chaos of noise and movement. Monsterkind of all races, scaled, furred, horned, rush through the streets carrying stretchers and hauling debris aside. An ogre kneels beside a fallen soldier, pressing a glowing stone to his chest. Stay with me, damn it. Don't you dare die on me. Nearby, a winged monster struggles to lift a piece of collapsed wall, her claws bleeding. Two smaller goblins pull together to help, groaning with effort. Alex walks past them quietly, his gaze steady. His eyes reflect the flames and ruin around him. Zevran lifts his head slightly, golden eyes scanning the destruction. This city has seen battle recently, he mutters. Alex nods. Yeah, and from the looks of it, not a small one. He passes a wounded serpent-like monster lying on the ground, scales torn and bleeding. A troll medic kneels beside it, whispering a low chant as healing light spreads over the wounds. The serpent opens a tired eye as Alex walks by, then lowers its head slightly in faint respect. Hey, watch your step, a voice calls out. The air is thick with tension and pain, yet beneath it all, there's determination. Despite the ruins, none of them are giving up. Alex stops for a moment, looking at the ruined walls. The claw marks etched deep into the stone are massive, larger than any normal beast's. That wasn't done by normal beast, he says quietly. Zevran flicks his tail, eyes narrowing. A beast king's doing, most likely. Its aura still lingers here. Master, you want to stay here? He asks, his tone casual but curious as he glances around the wrecked city. This place looks half dead. Alex shakes his head slightly, eyes scanning the destruction. No, he says quietly. I'm just looking around. He steps over a broken cart, the wood still smoking, and pauses near a group of monsters clearing rubble. The sound of groaning stone and crackling fire fills the air. A beast man with heavy gray fur and a missing arm limps by, dragging a pile of shattered bricks with his tail. Alex reaches out slightly. "Hey!" he calls, his voice steady. "What happened here?" The beast man stops, breathing heavily. His single eye flicks toward Alex, studying him for a moment before answering. "You must be from outside, huh?" He wipes the sweat from his brow, his voice rough. "The Beast King attacked the city yesterday." The monster spits into the dirt, frustration in his tone. "Came out of nowhere with a pack of subordinates. Tore through the outer walls. Even the city lord is dead." Marrow crosses his arms, floating in front of Alex. "Sounds like the kind of trouble that will spreads. Every Beast King trying to claim more land now, probably ordered by that bastard." The Beast Man nods grimly, not seeing Marrow but catching Alex's glance toward thin air. "If you're smart, stranger, you'll move on before they come back. We don't know if the next attack will be the last." Alex hums softly, looking at the cracked wall again. The claw marks still pulse faintly with residual mana. Powerful, savage. "I see." The Beast Man shrugs and turns away, limping back to his work. "If you're here to help, head to the north side. That's where the healers are short-handed." "I'll keep that in mind," Alex says quietly. Alex leans back in his seat as the flying carriage glides smoothly through the clouds. The view outside is serene compared to the chaos he left behind. Vast skies, streaks of sunlight cutting across the horizon, and the faint shimmer of mana trails left by other passing carriages. He exhales softly, resting one arm on the window frame. Flying on Zevran's back felt good, he murmurs, glancing toward the little dragon perched by the window lazily. "But this is faster." Zevran lets out a small, disgruntled puff of smoke. "Faster, yes, but boring." Marrow floats upside down above the seat, arms crossed and smirking. "You just don't like sitting still. You like showing off your wings too much." Zevran snorts, golden eyes narrowing. "I do not show off. I simply prefer the wind to this box." Alex chuckles quietly, tapping on the floating map in front of him. Cities and routes glow across the map. "I wanted to visit every city in this area," he says. "But it looks like that's not going to happen anymore." Zevran tilts his head, studying the map. "So where now?" Alex's finger stops on a single point. "Sona City," he says. "It's right next to the border of a human kingdom. Close enough to human territory that things will be interesting." Marrow grins. "Ah, so you do want trouble." Alex smirks faintly, eyes still on the map. "No. I just want to see how both sides live when the line between them is that thin." The carriage hums softly as it adjusts direction, the mana stones beneath it glowing brighter. Clouds rush past the window, the faint outline of mountains visible far below. Marrow stretches his small hands, curling up near the edge of the seat. "Humans and monsters fighting again," he mutters. "Some things never change." Alex leans back, eyes still tracing the moving clouds outside. "Now that I think about it," he says, voice calm but curious. "You've lived for so long, Marrow. Do you know any reason why humans and monsters can't see each other eye to eye?" Marrow tilts his head, floating upright again. That's a question I haven't heard in ages." He crosses his arms, drifting closer. "Although I'm not that old to have seen it firsthand. But from what my old master told me, it's always been that way." Zevran looks up, tail flicking lazily. "Always, huh?" "Yeah." Marrow nods, his tone turning faintly distant. "In the ancient era, humans were far more dominant. Their population, their control over mana, their technology, it all grew too fast. Monsters were stronger individually, but humans learned how to hunt in groups. They hunted monsters for our materials, bones, scales, mana cores. To them, we were just resources waiting to be carved up." Zevran growls softly, golden eyes narrowing. "So the usual. Greed." Marrow smirks faintly. "Pretty much. And once that pattern starts, it doesn't stop. Even when both sides grow strong enough to stand equal, the hatred stays. Passed down like a curse." Alex listens quietly, fingers tapping against the armrest. "So it's nothing new," he says finally. Marrow adds, "Some monsters started doing the same once they grew powerful enough. War never really ends. It just switches who's on top." Alex looks out the window again, his reflection faintly visible in the glass. "Then maybe it's time someone changed that," he says softly, almost to himself. Marrow's translucent eyes flick toward him, a small grin tugging at his lips. "Heh, you say that like you plan to." Alex doesn't respond. He just smiles faintly, gaze distant. The carriage glides silently for the rest of the night, the stars shimmering above them like scattered shards of glass. By the time dawn breaks, the clouds part to reveal the sprawling outline of a fortified city below. Walls marked by battle, towers reinforced with mana crystals, and banners fluttering weakly in the wind. Alex said, "Finally." Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.